second, buddy, let's clarify something. Superman is fiction. Superwoman is a reality. You know what, my friends? They always say when you speak about a woman, there are few terms that come mandatory, and one of them is strength. When we use the word strength to a lady, we always believe we're talking about the inner strength, the power of the lady. But never undermine the physical power of a lady as well, my friends, because today, who I have with me will break all the myths that you thought and clearly a record breaker as well. Today, with me is someone we call the Wonder Woman of India. Rightfully so. In fact, my friend, she is India's first vegan woman Iron Man. And to understand her story, it's not just a story about passion, perseverance. It's a story about emotion. It's a story about purpose. We'll put all this together, and it's extremely honorable for me to speak to Miss Aarathi Swaminathan. Hi, Aarti, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you, and wishing you a happy new year.
Happy New Year, Happy Pongal, Advance Valentine's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Every day is a celebration.
Absolutely.
And more importantly, when we have people like you who are achieving such amazing things, it is great pride for a city, great pride for Tamil Nadu, great pride for India, and for this concept of women as well. Talk to us a bit about why do you do what you do? What drives you towards sports? What drives you towards swimming, running, cycling, doing these numbers and kilometers that we'll go into? But what is the purpose behind all of this? There must be a reason.
You just answered my question, which is very simple. The drive, to do something that somebody has not done prior, and especially being a woman from Chennai, to go out there in an international arena and hold the Indian flag and proudly say, I'm an Indian doing the full distance. So, what more can I give back to myself and to the country?
Correct. And more importantly, I think it's about the country giving you what you truly deserve. So we'll balance this. You know, they say that it's about give and get. You've given a lot. This time, the hardcore truth, I believe, is the country has not given you enough as what it should be giving you and will continue to give you. So let's start off. Explain to us, first of all, what is an Iron Man? Now, go into details. We know it's a process of 17 hours, but what exactly is an Iron Man?
So it all started about 42 years back when the army officers kind of in the US wanted to clear who's stronger, who's more endurance than the other, whether the swimmer or the cyclist or the runner. So they all came up, teamed up, and decided to do an Ironman distance in the Hawaii Islands in the US. And that's primarily how the whole Ironman journey kind of kicked in way back then, about 42 years back. So what we actually do is called the world's toughest one-day endurance sport, and you cover a distance of 3.8 kilometers and swim. And it's not just you swim in a pool; you basically swim in a sea or a lake or
The
a
tides are
river.
crazy.
Yeah, the currents, the tides, the sighting. You don't even know where you're going, heading towards, and things like that. There could be sharks, there could be jellyfishes. So you name it, you have them in the sea, and it's about crossing all of that challenges, and then you get off your swim leg and you hop onto your bike and you do 180 kilometers in the brutal heat, wind. If it's a rolling terrain, then you go up and down the hills, and it depends from place to place. So you do 180 kilometers of cycling, then you get into T2, which is your transition, and then you hop onto your running shoes and do a full marathon, which is 42.2 kilometers of a run. So yeah, I mean, all this within 17 hours.
I got tired listening to this, yeah. Oh wow, all this in 17 hours. And that's what a common man today will do in his entire lifetime, you know? So go on, yeah, please.
So yeah, I mean, the one who completes this entire distance in 17 hours is called an Ironman. So yeah, that's how this crazy sport has been developed, and India is slowly stepping into it.
How much of this is body, how much of this is mind? Give me an honest answer.
I would say 50-50. You can always prepare for something, but end of the day, it's that race day. Just to give you an example of my race, the last week was brutal because I had prepared for a year and a half for it. With COVID and things, training indoors, not much of an outdoor activity and things, it kind of took me a toll last Saturday with Chennai heat and humidity. So it's a 50-50, I would say. It's a lot of mental game. It's always the mind over body because at every given point of time, your mind is saying, why are you doing this? Why are you torturing me so much? Who's going to, give you a pat on your back? You're not even going to get a medal to complete this race, whatever you're doing. So, I mean, obviously, the bigger picture is obviously you get a medal in the end of it. But whatever I did on last Saturday, it was a crazy attempt by me and my friends. We said, okay, let's go and do it. So it's more of a mind and a body game. And end of it all, when you cross that finish line, whether you're crawling, whether you're crying, it doesn't matter. But the overall, the international arena, when you go there, when people shout your name and say you're from India and say you are an iron, when all those three words is all what you want to hear.
It gives you, it recharges your batteries. You're set
Absolutely.
for one more Iron Man, aren't you?
I'm sure.
I'll tell you what, they always say Rajiv is very energetic. Trust me, this energy is nothing compared to this one. When the first basic problem we have in the mornings, we say, let's sleep a bit
Little
more.
more? Oh, yeah.
Don't you have these problems?
Absolutely.
How do you overcome that? Yeah?
Tell me about it.
So talk to me about, from being this corporate person, when did you realize that I still have it in me to go back? Is it too late? When is the right time to go back? And why did you go back leaving a comfortable job of money, growth, and a career?
Being an athlete all my life during school and college, so about 10-12 years is what you actually missed of not doing sports and just focusing on career, trying to grow, trying to make money, buy a house, buy a car. The usual Indian family drama. So you all go through that. And at one fine day when I saw myself in the mirror weighing 90 kilos, I was like, okay, gosh, what's happening to me? I need to do something about this person. It's not that I didn't like myself, but it's just that,
You
you've
lost yourself.
Yeah, I've lost myself.
Lost your identity.
Exactly. And, huffing and puffing to just walk few meters, climbing stairs, that was the turning point. And I said, for my 30th birthday, I'm going to give myself a triathlon race. I went ahead and registered for one in Chennai Trekking Club's race, which was happening in 2016 December. And I said, okay, come what may, I will go and do whatever it takes to do. And that was the driving force for me.
That was the start of things. You saw the
yeah.
mirror. When I see the mirror, I'm like, oh, look, I'm so cool. And you're like, I'm going to change.
How many of us spend about 30 minutes for yourself doing what you like doing? It could be talking to a friend or just sitting out and listening to some birds chirping. How many of us have seen the sunrise these days? Because we sleep late and we have kids to take care, especially, multitasking women have so much to, their hands are already filled with so much stuff they need to do. So you actually don't have your 30 minutes. So everything kind of boiled down to me in that, saying, okay, what am I doing? Okay, I'm going to work, I'm earning money, I have this, I'm taking care of my parents, what next? So when I hit that roadblock, I said, okay, the next 6 months, 30 minutes to 1 hour every day is going to be something that I like doing. And that's primarily what was the start.
Today, Aarti, they all talk about your success. They talk about the results that you achieved, which are impeccable, amazing. I salute you, honestly. But no one talks about your failure. No one talks about the effort. No one talks about your sacrifice. I want to know that. What were the failures you went through from starting to reaching where you are? What are the sacrifices you made? And what hurt you the most in this process?
You only get success unless you fail, right? So you don't really enjoy success if everything is given to you in a plate by itself. So every day is a struggle. Being a woman to, I wouldn't say I quit and then started the triathlon training. I was working, definitely working then, and when I did my first Ironman, I was working for a corporate company. And once I finished my Ironman is when I kind of decided, no, I just want to quit that and get into it. But the struggle itself is, as you rightly said, to get up in the morning, your body is saying, just sleep for another 5 minutes, just snooze your alarm for another 10 minutes. That by itself is a struggle, but then you overcome that because you have a bigger dream, you have a bigger vision. So I visualize a lot. So if you see in the wall, I have this big India flag right there. Because my childhood dream is to be in the Olympics, which I could not for whatever reason, but I still, am passionate about holding the Indian flag and crossing so many other, finish lines in different countries and different continents. That's a bigger goal. I want more women to participate. I want more women to be inspired from me. And so when you have these kind of big visions for yourself, every failure becomes a stepping stone. And triathlon as a sport, if you see, unless you fail, you don't actually learn anything. And I only look at it as a learning curve than as a failure. It's only a process and a scope for improvement. I always say I don't fail in anything. It's just a scope for improvement for me.
Your story has a lot to do with strength, perseverance, dreams, ambition, pride. But underlying all of this is the reason why you did it is an emotional reason for a friend, for a relationship, for a dream to come alive. And that makes your story even more beautiful. Really, that adds so much of value. And whenever someone asks you, why are you doing it? You're being selfish. You're not.
Yeah.
You were completely selfish because you lived your life on someone else's dream. And for that, you are an icon. Truly, you are. Talk to me about Anu.
So I met Anu through triathlon. We used to race together from 2016. We started racing, and we were supposed to do the half Ironman distance in Chennai Trekking Club's race, and we said we'll train together. Uh, for whatever mishap and the forest fire incident, I still get a tear down when I talk about that story because she's extremely close, and she was the one who kind of put the seed into my head about veganism, which I was clueless. I was not aware of what veganism is, what plant based food is, nothing of that sort. We have had our bit of conversations and messages and sharing our ideas and where she comes from and why she wants to do what she's doing. And during one of our conversations, she said, Ati, I want to be the first vegan person to climb the Everest and do an Ironman as well. And that kind of got stuck into my head. And when she left us due to the forest fire incident that happened in 2018 March, it was fortunate situation, but on her death day, her mom and we decided to turn vegan. And I told her parents that I will take the responsibility of fulfilling your daughter's dream of being the first vegan Ironman. The process by itself took a toll because I didn't know anything about veganism. I didn't know about plant based. I didn't know who I should approach. Even in a friend circle, I didn't know, should I ask them? Shouldn't I ask? The first question I had is water vegan? That was my first question. That's how stupid I was. So, but honestly, a lot of our friends kind of stepped in when I went on social media and I said, okay, this is my journey. I'm going to start training for this Ironman race, and that's going to happen in December, and I need help. To my surprise, all her friends immediately, dropped in a one-on-one message to me, said, we are ready to support you. Whatever you need, you let us know. You want some guidelines, you want some, nutrition tips, anything. So that by itself was a huge challenge for me to I was an vegetarian, so to become a vegan was not a big challenge in terms of the diet part of it, but to know whether the belt that you're wearing is vegan, the jean that you're wearing is whether it is vegan.
Because it's not what you're eating, it's your lifestyle completely.
Exactly. I wanted to be a complete vegan when I was crossing that line. So even the flag that I was carrying, I made sure it was made up of cotton fabric. So there's a lot of thought process that went into.
I'm just thinking about myself now. I'm not too sure. Oh, lovely. I always believe, and I still do believe, a person might not be physically with you, but she is still communicating with you. She's still
Absolutely.
driving you. She's still running alongside you. She's still swimming those high tides with you. If she was right here in front, what would you want to tell her?
I would just want to hug her and kiss her. That's about it. Because I think we talk a lot. I still interact a
I know,
lot with
sure.
her. Every time I have a doubt the next day morning, I have this clarity. I'm sure she's the one who's sending me that clarity. There is so many doubts that I've had on myself, certain decisions that I wanted to take. Even quitting my career and taking sports as a passion and as a career, a year back, I'm sure she was the one who said, go ahead and do it. I'm sure you'll shine in that as well. And I am shining
Of
really
course,
well.
you
So-
are making India shine actually. You do this every day. The reason you are getting up in the morning and running and doing insane things is purely for your country. My honest question to you, has the country given you back what you deserve so far?
Not really, but the days are not too far, is how I'm looking at it. Because primarily the sport by itself doesn't have an exposure. We don't have the required infrastructure. Sports itself, other than cricket and hockey, only now people have kind of
You're like
opened up.
cricket again. This cricket.
Exactly. So only now
Yeah.
people are looking at, after the Olympics, especially after so many, medals that we have won, people, the government by themselves are starting to open up new opportunities and things. I just read in today's paper, there's
That on ECR, the entire
exactly.
sports complex. Yeah.
Exactly. So what more? So obviously there is scope for improvement, as I always say, and government is taking the right initiative. Probably it's taking a little longer. I am ready to wait, but
You're
at
not
least-
waiting. You are running, you are cycling, you are swimming. You're not waiting. That's the problem. Yeah.
I hope the future generation gets what their bit of share.
But how many have come and gone like this? I mean, not Iron Man, but there are so many other achievers. Great sports people, sportsmen, sportswomen who've done some wonders for the country. Kettlebell lifters are there. Some amazing champions have been there. The government has failed to recognize them. So don't you think it's the duty of people We are going viral with crazy reels and dancing and changing in few seconds and all of that. Don't you think stories like this should be spoken about more often? Should be brought to
Absolutely.
people's front?
Absolutely. I think that's where you have stepped in now to do your bit of it. But yes, as you rightly said, all sports needs its equal amount of limelight and stuffs. And I'm glad that ITF, Indian Triathlon Federation, is taking the initiative now. Very recently, they're coming up with races. Hopefully, we have somebody representing India in the Olympics, in the near Olympics. So definitely there is a lot of scope. But yes, we have been in the fag end. Hopefully, we get our due respect and recognition very soon. But having said that, wish, as women athletes, especially get that recognition somewhere down the line, because we've always treated as, okay, homemakers, office goers, multitasking. They're good at this, good at that. But definitely that thing of, women not succeeding in sports is something still there in a lot of people's mind. And that's what I think these days kids are kind of coming and breaking that momentum.
You are Aarti, you are not only doing this for yourself, you are trying to change the mindset of the people. You are trying to recreate history. What you're doing, according to me, is even harder than an Iron Man. Very honest with you. But, if facts and numbers and medals and records are to be believed, women are doing exceedingly well. The women cricket team, cricket, of course, we
Absolutely.
always talk about Virat Kohli, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Sachin Tendulkar, but the women team is doing extremely well.
Absolutely.
Be it the Paralympics, be it the Asian Games, women have done exceedingly well.
Exceeding well, yeah.
So, in the future forward, how would you like women to be looked at in terms of sports? What is your vision? What's your dream? What will make you happy as an Indian woman, saying that this is the way women should be looked at? Facility, respect, payment.
Just like how you treat another man, as simple as that. I mean, we are after all human beings, right? We put in the same
You're
hard
like
work.
angels. You're not human. You are angels.
Thank you. But yeah, we put in the same hard work, effort any guy puts in, right? In terms of the training hours. Actually, sometimes we actually put in more because we have our family commitments. We have kids to take care. Many of the athletes who have married, I mean, I'm one of the few fortunate women, I would say, that my parents have not put me into that pressure of settling down, getting married, having kids. I'm living the life to the fullest, as I always say. So there are a lot of women who kind of juggle between the two and still do so much in the sports fraternity. So I think a pure recognition is what is required in terms of funding them, in terms of sponsoring them. I don't think it's rocket science to pitch in certain percentage for the women athletes and say, okay, this is what it is, this is what it's going to cost you. Okay, you take a poll, you go out there, ask, and I'm sure there is a sports authority in every city, leave alone metropolitan city. There is going to be a, ask them who's the talent, go and scout out for the talents. I'm sure there is some kid sitting in Bihar now and swimming in a lake. Probably she can be a triathlete. So it's about hunting the right talent. So I think with such a huge population, I think we should be superseding China any day. It's just about the infrastructure, and I'm glad it's a very slow process from where it was 5
But
years.
it's being
But it is,
transferred.
yes, it's definitely a continuous process. But we have a long way to go. In
The
terms of
transition is slow.
Very slow.
Yeah.
It needs to be quick. It needs to be fast. If you want to produce 10 medals in the Olympics, in the rate in which we are going, in the funding in which things are coming in, we are way too behind. Where on earth or where in Chennai can I, other than the ECR and the OMR stretch, even there could be dogs crossing by and there could be bikers going. Where will I be able to ride a 30 plus, in my cycle? If I want to compete against the world's best, I should be doing my cycle of 30, 35 plus. The risk factor, how much of a, whether somebody is going to cut across me, because for them it's, why is this idiot cycling at this morning hour is what. So first of all, you need to educate somebody saying, okay, what is these guys doing? If I want a road to be blocked, how much of them are protesting saying that no, you're obstructing my day-to-day activity. You're not
IT company ke pono, job all those
you're
things.
not understanding that somebody is putting in their hard, effort and
Correct.
sweating certain things out there. So
For a
that's-
larger dream, for a bigger vision.
exactly. So I think that's what we're lagging. It's only about you, your family, your circle. It's not about who somebody in the community is trying to do something. Let's all of us go and cheer. If there is a kid who has a potential, talent, how even if it is a community, how many of the community members are encouraging that kid to do something? It's only the family members, right? They are the ones who are struggling, trying to push, do whatever they can on social media to get that kid that limelight. But as a community, say you are 100 people in a 100 apartment, just 100 people pulling in some money is more than enough to send that kid for a class or whatever is required. So in India, we're still that, I wouldn't say narrow-minded, we're still closed in certain
We need
in
to
aspect.
find a person's passion and groom the talent.
Exactly.
That's what we need
Exactly.
to do.
So
Yeah.
somebody might not have the funds, somebody might not have the infrastructure. Why don't you support? So primarily that's what I want to do. My bigger picture, my retirement, if I do, I mean, though I have already started
That's
working
the wrong
towards.
word you said because Aarthi doesn't retire at all.
When I say retire only from the racing part of it, but the coaching part will obviously be there. I want to really put in at least 4-5, triathletes out in the Olympics.
Who's the coach exactly? Tell me that.
For me, I think coach is somebody who's not tom-tomming about his or her achievements over the social media, who's absolutely grounded, who knows, what an athlete actually requires. So if you see most of the big coaches in India, they're not big on social media. They are like sadhus, saints in one corner, but they're doing the best they can. And one such person is Deepak Raj. Though I currently work and he's my boss now, but the way he approached me 5 years back and he said, Aarthi, you showed interest in, getting into triathlon. Would you like to try, me as your coach? And that was humbling for somebody, you're not going and approaching. And he's like, I see a talent in you. Do you want to, kind of come on board and I'll drive you, I'll take you through. So that's how I met Deepak. So I met him through Facebook and we instantly connected because...
Thank God Facebook has been of some help to somebody. Very good.
And he was generously, he didn't put a price to his training or anything of his sort. He said, I see a potential in you. Do you want to come on board and check it out? So I really liked the approach and I said, okay, might as well give it a shot. And it just worked.
You've taken a choice of vegan, and that is not the most delicious form of food that I can say. Is it the easiest form of food, and is this the nicest, healthiest form of food?
Obviously, for various reasons. I mean, it's not that I'm saying I'm a vegan and plant-based diet is the best, but I've seen the difference from the performance side of it. So, being an vegetarian and I've been eating quite extensively from that to, getting onto a plant-based diet, my performance has definitely increased. Because of various reasons. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritties of it, but the quality of your muscles primarily, which is what is required, has built in a good way. Because there is no animal fat or animal based protein that's getting into the body. So the longevity of having less injury I've seen in the plant based, because I used to be injury prone during the initial stages of my training into the sport. And when I turned vegan in 2018 and the way that I'm seeing now, touch wood, I've not had any injuries so far.
Touch all the wood, yeah.
For plant-based, it's just that you need to take that extra effort the first few weeks because you need to make sure you understand what you're eating. That's
Correct.
all. It's about, you don't have to go to the nitty-gritties of understanding, how many micronutrients this has, how many calories this is. Nothing of that sort. I've done 2 Ironmans. I don't think about that at all. All I make sure is eat healthy, make sure my plate is colorful. That's all. I have my sufficient greens, I have my rice portion, I have my protein portion, and that's about it. So I'm not somebody who's super finicky about, I go to with friends and say like, it's okay, we can go to a veg and a non-veg hotel. I can pick what I want to eat and I know it's vegan. As simple as that. I can ask the chef to make it vegan for me. So it's not a rocket science, to be very honest. It's just that people have made it look very complex.
Actually, it's simple to follow.
It's very
and
simple
it's
to follow.
sustainable as well.
Exactly. And it's pocket friendly also if you know the right alternative. If you're lazy to get something, then obviously it kind of becomes very
It'll
hard.
hurt your body and your pocket. Both
Absolutely.
of them. How do you plan your future?
I'm extremely good at planning and I work on plans. So the next biggest goal is to qualify for the Worlds, which is either 2023 or 2024 World Championship. It's not easy to get because you compete against the world's best of each of the age groups. So that's the bigger goal. Definitely in 3 years, probably want to do an ultra triathlon ultraman.
What
which
is that? Can you
So
explain?
it's 3 times the whole
What
distance.
are you saying?
So it's about
one
5
person does 3 times. That or
Yeah.
3 people do it.
No. One
Oh, one
person,
person
does it, and it's across 5 days. You need to complete that within 5 days, and there are a lot of rules and regulations in that. Country to country, it varies. So that's the.
I will come with the camera and my team. She's going.
That's the bigger goal. Beyond all of that, these are something that I want to do. But the bigger picture, the bigger goal is I want to start something by myself, just like how my current boss has started his passion as an academy. I want to do an academy, but wherein I want to teach kids who genuinely deserve to be in part of the Olympics, absolutely free, stay, everything. So currently, I'm in the process of getting the funds, getting the infrastructure, and things like that. Want to have my own lab exclusively for triathletes, where anything you name it, you get it there. From your physios to your doctors to your training plans to the heat therapies and everything with a endless pool. So that's the bigger picture that I have. So probably when I turn 40, that's what I want to
You look 23. You have 17 years to go.
Absolutely.
You know what? You said you're competing with the world's best. I can say I'm talking to India's best. Really. It's been such a story of inspiration, such a story of fulfilling your dreams for yourself and others, and doing everything for a purpose and making your country, your pride, a lot more meaningful. Thank you very much, Aarti. I cannot tell you how much it means that you've come and spoken your heart out. You've not run at all, you've not cycled at all, but you've run us through your entire life. It's a lovely life story you have to share, and I only thank you and I wish you all the very best. And may we stay connected and see more glory and more success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
This is Chennai Live, Radio Redefined.